guys, what's up? It's Howtoschooler or Jordan here. Today we're going to hit you up with our second episode of 1UP Weekly. Unfortunately, the lonely nerd couldn't be here because he wanted to do a GTA heist. So I'm with shaboy East Coast Ghost. What do you want to go by today, my man?
Hey, it's East Coast Ghost going on right here, and I go by Lawrence, my middle name, so you guys can call me either East Coast Ghost or Lawrence. I don't really care.
Okay, East Coast or Lawrence. Today we're going to be talking about the Avengers Age of Ultron. We just got back from the movie theater. Pretty good movie. We're going to give you a little plot synopsis, give us our thoughts and hopes for the next movies. And just a warning, there are going to be spoilers in this. I'm sorry about that. It's just too hard to dance around it. So if you don't like that sort of thing, just, click to our other videos. The links will be in the videos and the description. So, I guess first off, we'll go with the synopsis. I'll kind of go into that.
All right.
So basically the movie starts and they're trying to get Loki's scepter back from Hydra, right?
Yeah.
They're trying to get back from the Hydra plant that was taken over from S.H.I.E.L.D. And they get the scepter back and they find this artificial intelligence in it. And Tony and Bruce Banner kind of go into it a little too much, and they bite off more than they can chew, and that's how Ultron is formed. And what were your thoughts on Ultron throughout the movie? How'd you like him as a villain?
Yeah, I thought James Spader did a superb job as Ultron, voicing him, of course. And I thought he was really cool. He kind of had an underlining dark humor to him. I thought he was a pretty good villain for the Marvel Universe.
Yeah, I really liked him, but my one complaint about it was his opening dialogue was so well written and performed. It just gave him that weird kind of psychopathic feel that you like in a villain.
Yeah, I felt that too.
And then after that, it just kind of... it wasn't bad after that. It just kind of went down and flatlined to, stereotypical sort of, it wasn't bad. It didn't hold up the whole time. It wasn't consistently great.
Yeah, it wasn't the excellent job they did with the opening, psychological kind of robot-y feel.
Yeah, it's a concept. And, so basically Ultron comes, and he was designed to come and save the world, but he decides that the way to save the human race is to purge it of everyone so they can start anew. And he basically wants to take off a piece of the earth and crash into itself like a meteorite. So that was pretty interesting. And
yeah, I wasn't really expecting that.
Yeah, it was definitely different. What else did you like about the plot? Do you want to talk about a specific part of the movie? What do you want to talk about?
I mean, we can just break down the movie and then go into our review and everything if you want to do that.
Okay. So, well, first, let's talk about Stan Lee's cameo.
All right, that was pretty funny.
That was probably one of my favorite parts of the movie. So, basically, Stan Lee comes in, and they're
he's at Tony Stark's party.
Yeah, and they're talking about Thor's talking about some liquor that's it's...
aged for 1,000 years and...
10,000 or something like that?
Yeah, mortal men are not allowed to drink it because I guess it'll just get them too wasted that they cannot handle it.
And Stan Lee's like, nah, man, give me that. And so it shows him drinking it, and that just cuts to the next scene where they're carrying him out. And Stan Lee is just
he says his famous line, he says Excelsior, and he's about to pass out
he's much. Just drunk as fuck, and he's like, Excelsior! And it's the funniest thing in the world. And then there's the ongoing joke throughout the movie with Captain America.
Oh, because the first line of the movie is shit, which Tony Stark says, so there's an underlining joke going on where all the Avengers kind of make fun of Captain America because he doesn't like bad language.
Yes, Tony Stark is like, shit, and Captain America's like, language? So throughout the rest of the movie, there are times when Captain America will say, oh, that bastard, and they'll be like, hey, I don't like that. And that was pretty funny. There's a lot of funny inside-y jokes sort of going on with it that I really enjoyed. So, what else do you think?
What do you think about the team this time and how they work together?
I think the team definitely came together a little bit more, which was surprising because they came together so much in the first movie. It was kind of hard to top that, but they definitely come together. I liked the addition of Quicksilver, and who was the other girl?
That was his twin sister, Scarlet Witch, of course, and they are the son and daughter of the well-known Magneto. He's the villain of the X-Men.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool how they kind of start out kind of bad, and the Scarlet Witch would go around fucking with people's minds, and that was pretty cool. And then eventually they come to the Avengers side, and who did you think was going to die throughout the movie? Obviously someone was going to die.
I either thought, like, you were telling me during the movie you thought Hawkeye was gonna die.
Oh yeah, I was fairly convinced. I just felt like they were foreshadowing it.
To be honest, I thought that maybe even Hulk was gonna sacrifice himself at the end. I mean,
Really?
obviously he's a fan favorite, but you never know with these movies. They could go either direction.
Yeah, Marvel kind of wants to prove like they're in control of the story.
Yeah, they don't want to follow the cliche, I guess you could say.
Yeah, kind of like EA and BioWare with all their add-ons to fuck up the Mass Effect fan theories. But that's a talk for another video. But yeah, so throughout the movie, I thought Hawkeye was gonna die, and I mean, they foreshadow it the whole movie. And then he goes to save a kid on the platform that Ultron basically tries to crash the Earth into itself by like getting a meteor chunk of Earth and just kind of.
Well, it was like made out of vibranium, and that's like the strongest metal. So I guess it would have like crashed through the Earth's core and kind of like destroyed it.
Yeah, like
he kind of like take the Earth and then make it like crush itself.
Yeah, like he took a chunk out of the Earth and he was trying to lift it up high enough so it would crash into itself. And they're evacuating everyone off of it. And Hawkeye goes to save a kid. And I'm like, yeah, this is probably where he's gonna die. And Ultron comes in on a fighter jet, and he's like slowly shooting out through everyone. You see him go towards Hawkeye. I'm like, hey, I was right. And then Quicksilver swoops in and saves the day.
Yeah, he sacrifices himself, which I was surprised. I mean, of course he's in X-Men, but this is not the same universe as that because they're made by Fox. But I'm really surprised that the first movie he was introduced, he was killed. And that had a massive effect on his sister, of course, Scarlet Witch.
Oh, yeah, she freaked out. And, I mean, I was sad that Quicksilver died. I didn't think he would, and I liked him as a character. I thought it was kind of weird that they made him Russian. I don't know if that's something that happens in the comics and they just wanted to do it differently, or do you know anything about that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure. I'm pretty sure they actually are Russian. They're following the comic book storyline, but, I don't follow the comics of Quicksilver and that storyline very much, so I don't know much about it.
Yeah, but I definitely thought I did not expect Quicksilver to be the one that died, or I actually didn't expect them going over to their side. I mean, it probably seemed obvious to a lot of people. Would you suspect that coming?
I mean, there was kind of an underlining tone where, of course, at the beginning, she, let Tony take the scepter, of course, and I guess she felt bad for him once he saw that vision and stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, eventually it was going to happen, but I didn't really know when, or if it was going to be in the next movie, or what.
Yeah, I really liked her power to psych people's minds out. Like, that's some scary stuff to see your, deepest, darkest fear. Like, she basically takes each Avenger and makes them see, exactly what they don't want to see. Like, Tony Stark sees all the Avengers dead, and,
because, he thinks that he caused their deaths, and just kind of, each of them kind of went into their darkest fears, and she exploited that to the fullest.
Yeah, it's a really interesting take on the mental capacity of superheroes. Like, it kind of shows their human side almost.
Yeah, and even Thor, even though he's not human, he still had he's still fearful of things.
Like, it shows that they have emotion.
So let's talk about, one of the best things in the movie, I think. Let's talk about Hulkbuster versus Hulk, of course.
Oh, that was definitely really cool. You saw an hour of the movie beforehand, right?
Yeah.
And I thought you said it was kind of short of a fight. I thought it was a really good fight, especially when he takes him down through the building and they collapse. This huge building just implodes on itself.
Oh yeah, that was definitely awesome. But of course, Iron Man comes on top at the end of the fight, which was not really expected, but I don't know. What did you think about it?
I thought it was definitely pretty cool. I liked how they added a little bit of humor to it, like how Iron Man basically does he where he rapidly punches him in the face.
Oh yeah, and he's saying "go to sleep" repeatedly.
Yeah, that kind of reminded me of those old school punching, the speed punching bags where you kind of jab and roll your fist with it, so you're doing it really fast. That's what that reminded me of him, because it's just like a rapid punch to the face. It was pretty funny.
And then towards the end, Tony tries to fly away with him, kind of connected. Then Hulk starts smashing like he always does. But then, towards the end, Hulk started freaking out, and Tony just kind of knocked him out.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Remember, there was the one part where Tony, knocks his tooth out, and he's just, there was that oh shit moment, and he's just sorry?
Yeah, he knocks Hulk's tooth out, and Hulk spits it out and just looks at him, and then Tony gets intimidated. I guess he bit off another more chunk than he could chew. And
yeah, that's kind of a theme with Tony Stark, is handling stuff he just can't. But in the end, he does control the situation. He flies him down through the building, and then he just punches him out once he starts to come down from his little hallucination from the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
So, what else was there? There was something else I wanted to talk about. Do you have anything else?
I mean, let's talk about how towards the end, what did you think about the Iron Legion robots? Like how there was so many of them.
Oh, how Ultron created a bunch of robots?
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty it was pretty intimidating for them, obviously. I thought it was pretty cool how he like was able to reproduce himself so many times. I did like it better than the aliens from the first movie. It felt
kind of like they repeated something from the first movie though, because of course there were like a ton of aliens in the first one, so
it really did, but I mean there's more fighting going on during the second movie compared to the first. Was just kind of a build up to that one big one. I mean, obviously there's a few smaller ones. The second one, there's a lot of fights going on. Like there's the one on that the one ship.
Oh yeah, they definitely took the mistakes from the first movie and, you know, exploited them to the fullest, and they really made it all the characters shine, I think, in this movie.
Yeah, definitely. And what'd you think? I know you said you didn't like this, but about the romance between Bruce Banner and the Black Widow.
Oh my gosh, I just felt like the romance between them two, Marvel was kind of pushing it too much, maybe a little bit of fan service, but towards the end, Hulk just flies off and because he doesn't want to hurt her. So, I mean, I guess that's kind of over with, would you say?
It's definitely going to come back. I mean, you thought it was a little bit rushed and it just didn't feel natural.
Yeah, I mean,
it does kind of come out of nowhere with it, but I thought it was a neat twist on it.
How did you feel about Hawkeye having a real family and kids and everything?
I actually didn't expect that. I mean, I should have just assumed he's a normal guy, but I mean, it's definitely really cool. Got to see a little bit of Velma from Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, a little cameo, you know. We don't actually know her name, but of course, Velma from Scooby-Doo.
Plays Hawkeye's wife, and he has the kids and everything. And, yeah, I mean, what'd you think about Nick Fury coming back?
Oh, that was definitely... It wasn't a surprise, you know, because he was the leader of S.H.I.E.L.D. and everything. But I was just surprised when Tony was fixing their lawnmower or the tractor. He just kind of showed up and started talking to him about the mistakes he's made.
Yeah. There's one thing I didn't like about the movie. They don't really give you much in between of what happened in between the movies. I mean, obviously there's the Captain America Winter Soldier, Iron Man 3, and there's all the other Marvel movies to kind of bridge the gap. But it feels like there's a lot that went on that you just kind of have to assume.
Yeah, it felt like, okay, so at the end of Iron Man 3, you know, of course, Tony Stark gives up being Iron Man, he
dismantles his suits.
Yeah, destroys them. And then in this movie, you know, he just has the Mark 43, Mark 45, and the Hulkbuster, but they never really explain why he still wants to be Iron Man or why he even built the suits.
Yeah, like he has his whole Iron Legion that he never even had before. Well, I mean, I guess he did have them, but they're newer.
Yeah, there's like a Mark II version.
Yeah. And what about Pepper not being in the movie? It was pretty obvious they just didn't feel like getting Gwyneth Paltrow or paying what she wanted.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of mentions her, but she's not really a big character anyway. I mean, of course, Tony gives her the company, but she doesn't have any significant role to the plot of these movies.
I just thought it was kind of funny how they just completely don't include her, and they're like, oh, where's Pepper? And he's like, off doing business. I feel like that's going to be a future thing where it's like, oh, you couldn't afford an actor? Yeah, they're managing Stark Industries.
I mean, I think she'll probably be back in Civil War.
You think? I mean, I guess so, because that is
Kinda
going to focus on Captain America and Iron Man.
Yeah, because that's one of Tony's biggest supporters, you know, of course. They're practically married now. And I just feel like that he would do more of a fight to, like, maybe save her or something.
Yeah. So,
give more effort into it.
Yeah, definitely. And, so, I mean, at the end of the movie, obviously they saved the world. Quicksilver was actually the only one that died. Ultron's defeated and whatnot. And, well, I mean, what'd you think of, what did Jarvis become? What's his name?
Well, of course, Jarvis is, like, now the Vision. Of, that Infinity Stone, which Thanos is gonna steal, obviously, for the next movie setup. But, I think her name was Friday, and it's Tony's new AI that he's gonna be using.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I liked the Vision.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked him. He was kind of cool. He could pick up Thor's hammer, which was pretty interesting. Why do you think he could pick up the hammer?
Well, I think because, you know, Thor says in the middle of the movie how he says you have to be worthy to pick it up. So I guess...
You think it was because he was worthy?
Well, I mean, also, I don't think it was because he's worthy. Probably because he wasn't a human. He's not mortal.
That was one thing we were talking about in the car ride home. I think he was worthy because he's obviously on the good side. But then, as you guys said, he would become Thor because whoever can pick up the hammer because they're worthy becomes the ruler of Asgard. So I definitely think it's because he wasn't human. But by those standards, the Iron Legion should be able to pick it up as well.
Oh yeah, Ultron would be able to pick it up.
Yeah, so I think there's something weird going on with it. I think it might have something to do with the Infinity Stone, maybe giving him some sort of power.
Yeah, maybe give him almost the same amount of power that Thor has. Like,
so,
they're both equal in power, I guess.
yeah. So I think if he can do that, I think Thanos might try to steal Thor's hammer.
I mean, I don't know. Obviously, they're setting up the Infinity Stones like in Guardians and stuff. They're kind of getting this whole big storyline together where Guardians and Avengers team up. But that'll be a topic for another video.
Yeah, and after the end credits, they do show Thanos, well, do they show him or do they show him talking? Like, do they? I think there's a few seconds where you actually see him.
Yeah, you see his face, and he's in Asgard, and he's stealing the Infinity Gauntlet, which was Thor's father's own creation. But, well, that's from the comic book storyline. I don't know what they're going to do with it. But, of course, he created it, and you can pretty much create galaxies if you have all the stones.
Or destroy.
So I don't really know how they're going to defeat this guy.
Yeah, it definitely seems like someone with unlimited... It's basically godly power beyond Thor's, like, overall ruler power. So it should be interesting with the setup for that.
And Thanos is strong anyway, so...
Yeah. And, so we're kind of hopping around a bit, but back to the end of the movie, they save the day, and they kind of show like new Avengers coming in, how they're gonna train them in the new Avengers facility, and
yeah, the Avengers Tower is destroyed, so they have a new Avengers facility. It's more of a department kind of place.
It's not like a tower; it's more low key.
Yeah, it's like in the woods and stuff, and it's in upstate New York.
Yeah, and so I thought that was kind of cool, and they kind of foreshadow a little bit of irony on Civil War because they show Captain America and Iron Man talking, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna miss you, buddy, blah blah blah. And obviously Civil War is about them fighting.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously there was an underlining tone between the movie, like who was stronger. They were kind of competing, and Cap, of course, was getting mad at him because the Ultron thing, but I guess he kind of forgived him with the Vision.
Yeah, definitely. So Civil War. You want to put a few predictions out there, just to put them out there. Who do you think is going to win the Civil War? I mean, they may do it like the comics, they may not. What do you think's gonna happen?
So I think that actually Iron Man, Tony Stark, will be winning the battle because I just feel like he's a better hero, and of course I feel like he works around situations more than just heading into the fight headstrong.
Well, he's smarter, but he's more ambitious.
He's like the Batman of the Marvel universe. You think
the Batman? I think he reminds me of Julius Caesar, like a smart man, but I think his ambition might be the death of him. Honestly, I think he'll beat Captain America just because of how smart he is, but I do think that ambition's gonna bite him in the ass. I think Stan Lee, if you've never heard, kind of has a hard-on for Robert Downey Jr. just because because basically when he created the character of Iron Man, he created it because someone was like, oh, you can't make a superhero that's a douchebag and have people still like him. And he did that. And like Robert Downey Jr., he said, is the perfect actor. Like, this is exactly what I wanted. So
what do you feel about how do you feel about Civil War as
like a movie?
Yeah, what do you feel? Do you think it's too rushed right now, or do you think it would be the best for the next Marvel movie?
I mean, it's coming out, next year?
Yeah, it comes out May 4th, 2016.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good movie. I mean, just because there's so many Avengers in it, I honestly don't know why they're calling it Captain America: The Civil War. That kind of makes it seem like he may win, actually.
I mean, I don't know. There's, of course, what do you feel about the cameo from Spider-Man?
I mean, I think he'll just show up for a few seconds. I honestly don't think he's going to be in a lot of the movie, but, I mean, they've obviously stated that he will be in it.
Yeah, so, what do you think about, obviously this is an MCU, but what do you think about the new Spider-Man? That obviously they haven't chosen an actor yet, but who would you like to see play Iron Man? Spider-Man, I'm sorry.
I don't know. Honestly, like everyone likes Tobey Maguire Spider-Man and hates on Andrew Garfield. I honestly thought Andrew Garfield brought a fresh take on the role. I know Spider-Man's normally like a nerdy teenager, but my thing about that is I think back in the day they made Spider-Man like that because, you know, a lot of people who read comic books were stereotyped as nerds. So it was someone they could appeal to, like he was a teenager, he went through all these stereotypical problems like acne, homework, stuff like that.
Puberty and stuff.
Yeah, but yeah, so I think Andrew Garfield was more of a
Like a hipster nerd.
I think he was more of a modernized Spider-Man.
Yeah, I felt like he was more of a like hipsterish, not really nerdy, but I mean, you could just say like he didn't fit in. He wasn't nerdy,
You didn't like him?
but he was more like a skateboarder kind of guy.
Well, that's why I'm saying I think he's a more modernized take on the people who are going to watch the movies, which is why they did that.
Yeah, I felt like it related to the people of our generation more.
Like our time period, yeah. And I mean, obviously, I would love it if they stick to the comics, but I did like Andrew Garfield as an actor, and I mean, he kind of appeals to everyone. A lot of guys think he's cool, and I don't know. I've had a few girls say he's pretty attractive, which is an awkward thing to tell me, but you know, it happens.
And I feel kind of bad for the guy because, of course, they planned all these movies through Sony. Then Marvel got some of the rights back to Spider-Man. They just kind of said, like, screw you, Andrew, we're getting someone new, which was pretty shitty on the situation because I thought he did a good job, and he didn't deserve that kind of treatment.
Know who would be a hilarious replacement, though?
Who?
Christian Bale.
Not as Spider-Man.
I am the Spider-Man.
Maybe. Christian Bale, if you're listening to this, make sure to call the casting call.
I mean, it wouldn't make any sense, but it'd be really, really hysterical.
So let's go back to Age of Ultron. What do you think about the Scarlet Witch becoming an Avenger and, of course, bringing back War Machine for kind of a little bit of a cameo in this movie?
I mean, I liked all the superheroes. I liked the movie as a whole. I think they left it a little bit open, and I actually had a pet peeve with this movie. Robert Downey Jr. did not hide as many snacks on set as he did during the first movie. Like, during the first movie, he's eating the whole time. If you didn't know, that's completely unscripted. He just hid snacks, and they got tired of telling him no. And it doesn't really happen in this movie. And, you know, I just thought that was something funny.
What do you feel about the future of the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and how do you feel about just how Ultron, maybe let's go back to the topic of Ultron, how he kind of switched bodies throughout the movie since he was in the internet, he could kind of change forms and different kind of things.
I thought it was interesting. How do you track down a virus and completely destroy it? Like, he had so many copies of himself. I still don't they destroyed all of his bodies, but how do you know his consciousness is completely gone?
Yeah, because Jarvis hid himself in the internet.
Yeah,
so he could have done the same thing.
Ultron may be back, maybe not. I mean, it was interesting. I definitely liked Ultron, and, you know.
Yeah, how do you feel about the end talking scene between the Vision and Ultron where they're kind of relating how they were kind of born the same and what they were used for, their purposes in life?
I mean, it's definitely interesting. You always like seeing what a character's really thinking. I think that was that moment where they're like Ultron has his own fears. Like, he's not just some inhuman machine.
Yeah, and also I felt like they related to each other.
Yeah, they kind of, not all good is evil. Not all good is completely good. Not all evil is completely evil. Like, you could have good intentions and do bad. You could be bad and do something good. Like, no one specifically one thing. I think that's kind of what they were saying with that.
Yeah, but then eventually, Ultron tries to attack Vision once again, and bye-bye, Ultron, you're gone completely.
Like, he just vaporized him with his little infinity crystal.
Yeah.
So, overall, I think it was a good movie. Is there anything else we talked about, is there anything else you want to talk about in the movie? Was there anything else?
What do you give final rating, 1 through 10?
Final rating, okay, well, I think I'm a little harsher with my ratings. Like, the first Avengers, I think I would give, like, a 6.5 or a 7.
Yeah, I agree, 6.5.
And this movie, I think I would give about, probably an 8.
Yeah, I'd give it 8 to 8.5. Great acting, great character development, not enough screen time for each character, but I feel like they can fix upon that with Captain America 3, more Iron Man, more Captain America, but they got the most screen time in the first movie, so, I mean, you have to give other actors a chance to shine.
Yeah, it's definitely a good movie. I look forward to whatever else Marvel chooses to do. Is there any other the new movies you want to make predictions about or talk about, or do you want to call it a day and we'll do a future video about that?
I think we can do a future video about that, maybe future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, I definitely think it's bold for them to announce their whole lineup.
Yeah, for the next, 10 years.
Like, what if one fails? But, we'll get into that another time. I hope you liked this video. Check out the podcast on SoundCloud if you want to hear it again. Share it with your friends. Find our videos specifically. We do more than just one-up weeklies. At least I do. You're getting some more videos up. And follow us on the social medias. All the links will be in the description. Thanks for listening. Any last words?
All right, peace out from Lawrence here. Make sure to check us out next week.
Yeah, and keep on keeping on. Peace.